This is Average Sports.
By your average guys.
Eric.
And Ty. That would be so bad.
Yeah. This is Average Sports.
Your average sports.
Average Sports.
Thanks for tuning into another episode of
You're listening to Average Sports with your average guys.
Average Sports, average guys, Eric and Ty. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us.
What,
It's another episode
good morning,
of Average
good evening,
Sports
good evening?
by average guys.
You said good evening twice.
Eric and Ty. I don't know.
Okay.
Check the tape. Pretty sure I said good morning, good evening,
And good evening.
good evening.
I don't know. Either way, Eric, this meat is spicy, brother.
It is, man. It is.
So, welcome to another episode. Every once in a while, pretty much every time, we have some adult beverages while we're recording this.
Always.
Eric brought mead in. I don't know who drinks mead, but
Mead is it's fermented honey.
Yeah.
It's honey wine.
Sure.
So it's a little bit different.
Well, it's
a little
spicy.
unique, but this is local from
Ouch.
here in St. Louis, man. So
Oh, that's cool.
shout out to them.
All
Yeah,
right.
this one's a little spicy, a little unique for
all
sure.
right. I like it. But let's talk about sports, what the show
Hey,
is
there
actually
we go.
about. Thanks for tuning in. It is Average Sports with your average guys. I'm Ty.
Eric.
That's Eric. That's right.
It's backwards, man.
Hey,
Doesn't flow as well.
It's because we haven't been doing this in a while. What has it been, like a month? We went on hiatus.
Yeah, we took a little hiatus there, man. Just work schedules got in the way since we do this part time, man. But
Right.
it's good to be back. I'm glad to be recording in person because the last time we did do it, it was remote.
You were remote,
because I
yeah.
was out of town working. So
That's right.
But glad to be back. So we got to bring back this segment, which is one of my favorites that we've added.
Okay.
So we've had many segments open up the show in the past, but would you rather?
Oh,
is one of my favorites.
Okay.
So,
Let's play a little Would You Rather.
would you
then.
rather
Okay.
see 10 minutes into the future
Okay.
or 150 years into the future at any point in time?
At any and it's an unlimited feature. This isn't like
Yeah,
a once
unlimited.
and 150 years in the future. How long can I stay there to view?
You can sit there and view it.
Well, I
Almost
want to take the 150 years because you know how much sports betting I can get down. I could do the Back to the Future 2 thing all the time.
Okay, well, let me clarify. I think the way this question is written, you can't
Sports betting.
chronologically go from now to 150 years. It's exactly jump to 150 years.
So I can't jump 150 years at a casino where they have all the scores.
You can't. It's
And
not,
I can. Well,
it's not time travel.
Okay, how about no, that's a bad example. You're right. How about I look into the future at a library where a sports almanac is? Again, I mean,
you could.
Yeah, Back to the Future 2 on my mind here. I think I could use this to my advantage.
I mean, you
and
could.
make a couple bets.
Yeah, I could see how you could do that. Look 150 years in the future, but
I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
I know where you would argue the 10 minutes in the future you can avoid some, hazards for yourself.
bad decisions. That you
Bad
potentially
decisions.
made.
Yeah. I think Nicolas Cage was in a movie basically around that premise.
Oh my God, Nicolas Cage is still getting work.
No, this is an older movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
He's
it's
still
pretty
got
weird.
work.
But yeah, that
Man.
dude works. I mean, how many
I know,
movies
he
have you
does-
been
he
in?
works a
been
lot
in
because he's
in a ton of
bankrupt.
movies. Wow.
He's bankrupt. That's why he works so much.
Is he really?
Yes.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, he lost everything a couple of years ago.
What?
And then he got married recently again. And then I think he got divorced.
He
I don't
clearly
know.
did not
He's
use his 10 minutes into the future,
He's
did
a
he?
mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Nick
he
Cage.
chose the 150. I don't
Yeah.
know. Hey, yeah, that's all right.
Anyway, that wraps that up. I'm going to go 150 years into the future as well, but I'm not going to use it for sports almanac betting. I'm just going to use
think
it
that's
to
a
check
good
out
idea.
the future.
Yeah, of course.
See what's going on.
Well, I'm gonna see
the
what's
new
going
cool
on.
technology, or see if we are in the,
Right.
Think
about the kind of investments you can make if you know what's happening 150 years from now.
Yeah, I mean that would
great.
be pretty great. But I mean, maybe it's what is that movie with Denzel? I mean, there's so many of them. Post-apocalyptic.
Deja vu.
Deja vu is different. That's more like a 10-minute into the future, and they just keep rewinding everything.
I don't know then.
No, Book of Eli. It's like post-apocalyptic.
Sure.
Everything's burned. Yeah, is it going to be like that, or is it going to be like the Jetsons? I don't know.
In 150
Let's look.
years? Yeah. No, I'm more optimistic than that. All right. Well, we got a lot of catching up to do, and we got to start talking about sports, Eric. Let's get into it because
Love it, man. So
this is one of the best times of years of sports.
it's my
we're on the
favorite time of year.
precipice. We're so close.
I know.
When 4 major sports, and now really MLS is only growing and getting bigger, better.
Bigger, faster, stronger.
All that good stuff. We are going to see
that's a prospect.
All 5 major sports, team sports, playing in October. So we're just like 2 weeks away from that. That's going to be really exciting. NBA's on its way. NHL starts this weekend for preseason.
Preseason starts.
MLB playoffs.
Most of them reported.
NFL is in full swing.
Yeah. I think hockey, most of them report to camp tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think we're recording this on Wednesday, so players show up tomorrow.
All right. Anything exciting about NHL? Oh, the Kraken is coming up.
Seattle Kraken.
Seattle Kraken. What sound does a kraken make?
Gigantic squid octopus.
So just gurgle.
I don't know. I'll have to refer back.
It's going to be fun, though. I can't wait.
I'm going to have to refer back to movie 2 of Pirates of the Caribbean, Davy Jones's Locker, because that's where they have the kraken.
All right.
So they're just going to do a lot of
movie references in this episode.
Johnny Depp jokes.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to the Kraken. How about that?
There you go.
Play it on ice.
It'll be
the
good.
Kraken on ice. Okay. What else is happening? The U.S. Open happened and concluded. It was pretty exciting. It was 2 weeks of tennis in New York. A lot of good moments in that tournament. And the men's singles went to the top 2 seeds. That's not that uncommon. See Djokovic in the final. However, he did not win his the full Grand Slam. When you do the sweep in 1 year, that hasn't happened in over 50 years. Yeah. So he lost in straight sets to number 2 ranked Medvedev. That was it was a good match. You know what? It wasn't that good of a match. I'm going to be honest, because it wasn't that thrilling. I mean, it was just it was very surprising. To see it like that.
I had it on a little bit here and there, not even the finals, just some of the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
But I have not been overly intrigued by tennis in a very long time.
Hear me out on this one. So the men's, great. All right. The top 2 best players in tennis in the world. It's separated by so much talent that it's very top heavy. But the women's singles, on the other hand, they play fewer sets, and maybe that has a factor. And at the same time, there's just less domination in there. It's almost any woman's game on the women's singles.
It feels like that since Serena has not been participating and not been dominating, even when she has been playing. So
there's a few names in women's tennis for sure, but it seems like every major there's a new name to win. Osaka, who's probably the most well-known name at this point of active players, got bounced in the 2nd or 3rd round in the U.S. Open. So that really opened up the field.
Yeah. So we've talked about her a lot recently with some of the mental health issues she's going through.
She came out ready to play. I mean, she didn't make it that deep, but you know what? That just also speaks further to where the women's side of the sport is. So 2 unranked finalists appeared in the U.S. Open final from Great Britain. That was Raducanu and then Fernandez out of Canada. So 2 women, I mean, not many people really knew about at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know. Unranked and also both under 20 years old. That's crazy.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
That's unusual. I think we typically think of tennis as a very young sport. Like, you can come up, be great in your, mid to late teens, or at least be like approaching greatness, and then you hit it in those early 20s. And then, of course, you have some of your standout, just all-time players that go through their mid to late 20s, 30s, where that is not typically the case anymore. Like, the fact that we're seeing some of these very young teenagers make it to the final of a Grand Slam is impressive. Yeah. Great. I love that.
No, I think it's great.
Like that.
For sure. So. Well, Eric, we were talking about how great the fall is and where we are with sports, and I know you're excited, dude. We're 2 weeks in the NFL. You haven't even lost a fantasy team yet or game yet. That's unusual for you. So speaking of unusual occurrences, wow,
throwing some shade. Yeah. I haven't lost in 2 leagues. I'm in 4 total. I'm 2-0 in 2 leagues. Okay. I'm 1-1 in 2 others.
See, that's too much to manage. That's too much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's a lot. And they're all different formats. So one's Dynasty.
Oh, dude.
One's our PPR, single quarterback. One is a super flex, full PPR. And then one is a standard league. So, I mean, it is all over the place with how
it really
deep I'm
is.
going.
Yeah, you have to rethink on how.
Yeah, and they're all different sizes too. So the Dynasty's 10, Superflex is 8, the Standard is 10, and ours is 12.
Yeah, you need help. But anyway, 2 weeks of NFL are in the books.
Hey, man.
What are your reactions? What's
So I'm not going to steal your thunder, but one of them was the fact of one of the teams that is, a couple of the teams that are 2-0.
Yeah.
Versus some of the ones that aren't. One of the biggest takeaways is that the NFC West is domination center. I mean, those 4 teams look very, very good.
Mm-hmm. They're already at 6 wins in that division.
San Francisco's already struggling with health, just like they did last year.
Yeah.
People thought that Baltimore was struggling with health, and San Francisco said, hold my beer. They are really going through it in the running back room, just like Baltimore, but worse. But the biggest takeaway that I had is obviously the week 1 for Aaron Rodgers versus week 2. It was a drastic change between those two and how New Orleans came out and dominated him. Mm-hmm. And then now I get it. He's playing Detroit, who's down
and
a couple
Detroit
plays
had
on the defensive side
good first half.
They did. They were in it the first half. It was a tight game. They were leading 17-14, I believe, at the half.
Yeah.
Or they were down 17-14. So they're in the game. But then Green Bay came out and just smoked them in the second half.
It was bad.
So really impressive by Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to kind of turn it around. I do expect that from a veteran quarterback such as Aaron Rodgers and a veteran team with people like Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams and just a really good team overall. So
okay.
I'm sorry. I missed the time there, man. You're going to have to edit that out. I thought that was counting down to 0. So I said 3. So the second piece there that I really took away is looking at the yards per carry on some of the leaders in the NFL. And not so much some of the leaders, some of the names at the bottom that I think in particular fantasy players expected a whole lot more from. So down there at the bottom, now this is a minimum of 20 carries, so I'm throwing out literally the bottom 2 that I see are like below that, but big names. Alvin Kamara is at the bottom.
Interesting.
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, that
just doesn't sound right to me. And I think, if you go back and you watch that game against Carolina, that defensive line and those linebackers are really good. Yeah, they were able to really get to Jameis and mess him up and made Jameis look like Jameis, as opposed to what happened in the first week against the Packers.
Right.
But Alvin Kamara is averaging right now with 28 carries, 3.1 yards a carry.
Ooh.
That's awful.
Ouch.
That is not going to get it done. Some of the other names down there at the bottom, Najee Harris. I think people expect a lot out of Najee Harris this year. Now, I get that his line isn't as great as it has been in the past.
Where was he drafted mostly? First or second round?
Second round, most places.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think he fell into the third. But
point being, people are hedging their bets on it. Yeah.
And he's averaging 3.2 a carry. And then here's another one. I got two more big ones here. Both of them are at 3.3 yards a carry. One of them is Jonathan Taylor, who arguably has one of the best lines in the NFL. And he's averaging 3.3 yards a carry. And then right next to him is Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
And he's been very disappointing on an offensive score.
First 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
And that's a team that you saw last year has a lot of offensive weapons. That has not changed at all. Maybe some teams are figuring out exactly how to go against Kansas City. Either way, they're going to score against you, and they are probably going to score a lot against you. You just have to put the lid on it just enough for you to overcome it. I mean, that's like the best way to go against Kansas City.
The big thing that I saw in Kansas City difference this year to last year is that last year they were middle of the pack, 14, 15, 16, I think, in passes to the running back. This year they're dead last out of 2 games. So they really need to start kind of getting that ball
shaping that up a little bit.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.